for the end of the season. So this is the day, the critical day for the Denver Broncos.
The Kansas City Chiefs are a team on the ropes, but they are still mathematically in the playoff hunt. Today they'll go with quarterback Todd Blackledge, who started at the outset of the season, was replaced, but Bill Kenny's banged up.
He hasn't started in a month. He had his chance. The Chiefs were 3-3 with Todd Blackledge as a starter, but Kenny hurt with that bruised hand, so John Makovic's kind of in the situation of, I'm not sure he wants to start Blackledge. We think Kenny will come in quickly if the Chiefs had any problems whatsoever, but Makovic, in the terms of some people, may be coaching his last game if they don't win in Arrowhead Stadium.
Well, this is the final game of the regular season. Some feel that Makovic may have to win 2 of the last 3 to come back. Right now, the Chiefs are 7-6 and would need a winning record. We'll see. That is all really a moot point at this point. Right now, the Denver Broncos are ready to kick it off. Jeff Smith is back deep in the middle of a trio of Kansas City return men. Larry Moriarty is back with him, along with Boyce Green, 2 big backs on either side. Carlos into the football, and we're underway. A high spinning but short kickoff that Moriarty will take at the 14-yard line. A big back from Notre Dame bowls his way across the 30. And so Moriarty, a 238-pound fullback who came here during the season in a trade with the Houston Oilers, gives the Chiefs pretty good field position to start the game. Blackledge at quarterback, one of that select class of '83. He, in fact, was the second quarterback pick that year after John Elway went to the Colts and subsequently to the Broncos. Boyce Green and Moriarty, the starting runners, both big back. They do not have a breakaway back of any substance here in Kansas City, and that's the major problem. The Chiefs are a young team that is loaded with good football players, though. Denver setting up on defense, looking to put the lid on today and win the AFC West. Blackledge, a pitch back. Moriarty taking on tacklers to the 35-yard line. Got 2, and that was all. The Broncos, a team very difficult to move on the ground against. Carl Mecklenburg led the tacklers for Denver. Irv Eatman, a U.S. Football League All-Star at left tackle. Brad Buddy's a standout. Donnelly's the best of the offensive linemen this season. Attuck's another all-USFL player. And Dave Lutz, perhaps Kansas City's best pass blocker. A good offensive line, big, well-trained. Gain by Moriarty was barely 3 yards. They'll make it second down in a long 7 where they have the ball position. Blackledge was replaced 7 games ago by Bill Kenny. Now he's back in. Here's a throw and a catch. Going out in the far flank, he gets the ball to big Henry Marshall, a wide receiver with tight end size, 6'3", 225. Mike Harden knocked him out of bounds for the Broncos. Trump?
Here's been a spot where Kansas City's had problems all season long, converting these 3rd down and shorts. They've gone 9 straight games and have not had a running back over 50 yards. You would think an offensive line that big with nothing but fullbacks in the backfield would be able to convert third downs. Kansas City, for some reason, can't.
Stephon Page having an excellent season is flanked to the left side at the top of your screen. 44 catches, 9 for touchdowns. Here he comes in motion. 3rd and 2. Boyce Green, and the Broncos throw him back. Ricky Hunley shot the gap. Inside linebacker Ricky Hunley, the Broncos' leading tackler, makes the play. And so the Chiefs fail to get 4 new downs, and they'll have to punt the ball to Denver.
Doesn't seem possible with a line that big and running backs that big that Kansas City has so much trouble getting that short yardage.
Gerald Wilhite back deep now for the Broncos. He broke one for 70 yards and a touchdown. He did that against Kansas City. High punt, hit downfield. Wilhite will let it go in. But it's not going in. It's going to be down at the 2-yard line. So a superior punt by Lewis Colbert pins the Broncos inside their 5-yard line. A 56-yard punt down by the veteran linebacker Gary Spaney. And now Trump, Denver goes on offense for the first time, albeit with a long way to go. 98 yards in the Kansas City end zone.
Throughout this season, the Broncos have not really been a long drive football team. They rely on their defense turning the ball over from the opponents, and they get 50 or 60-yard drives and get it in the end zone.
Elway coming off an excellent game a week ago against Cincinnati when he threw for 3 touchdowns, led the way for the Broncos as they won their 10th game. High set in the backfield. Look how deep the deep back Winder is. He gets the ball and gets out to the 4-yard line. It did not come easy as a rookie linebacker, Tim Cofield, number 54, and right end Pete Koch were on the tackle for Kansas City. The pass blockers for the Broncos. David Studdard and Ken Lanier are the tackles. Keith Bishop and Paul Howard the guards. Veteran Billy Bryan, down his 10th year from Duke, down over the ball at center. Gain of 2 yards on that carry, and it's going to be 2nd down and 8 for Denver. Vance Johnson comes to the near flank. Steve Watson on the right side. Kansas City has a very strong secondary, one of the best. Elway on 2nd and 8. Loop pass. He's going to his tight end, and the ball is stripped away. Lloyd Burris knocked it away from Orson Mobley, a rookie tight end who was running free, but the strong safety. Lloyd Burris recovered, and it's an incomplete pass.
That was excellent coverage by Burris. Mobley's not going to win a lot of foot races, but you can see Burris is right there, and he just reaches over that huge body of Orson Mobley and knocks it away. Last time these two teams met, Kansas City turned the ball over so many times it was 28-0 before anybody got warm in their seat.
So now a long yardage down for Elway in the shotgun. 3rd and he needs 8. Winder. No, that was Wilhite who got a pitch ahead, and Art still caught him. Gerald Wilhite, as the Broncos tried to go to that shuffle pass up the middle of Gerald Wilhite. And the best player on the Kansas City team, Art Still. Their all-pro left end made the stop, and now the Broncos Trump are in trouble.
The Chiefs may be 7-6 and have a 3-game losing streak, but this defense of Kansas City deserves a shot in the playoffs. They've given up exactly 1 more yard defensively than the Denver Broncos, but they've given up almost 80 more points. Most of those have come from the Kansas City offense on turnovers.
Denver beat the Chiefs 38-17. 3 weeks ago at Mile High Stadium. Full rush. And Horan gets the ball away, and very nicely as Jeff Smith will bring it back. He's inside the 40. A stand-up tackle. He was drilled chest high at the 36-yard line after a 42-yard punt and a return of 14 yards. Jeff Smith puts them in good field position. Lineman for the Denver Broncos, Rulon Jones, with 13.5 sacks. Greg Cragen, the nose tackle, and Andre Townsend, 3rd-year pass rusher at right end. The linebackers, Mecklenburg and Hundley, a couple of enforcers inside. Jackson and Ryan, 2 very quick outside linebackers. The veteran Louis Wright and Mike Harden, who has scored 3 touchdowns as a defensive player and return man this year. Dennis Smith and Steve Foley are the safeties.
And you know, we introduced 11 guys on defense for Denver. It's really not fair. They got 22 defensive players. All of them play in given instances in every single football game in Joe Collier's defense.
Denver is a team with outstanding frontline defensive personnel and outstanding backup people. Loaded on defense are the Broncos. Right now they'll be tested as Moriarty takes it on a delayed draw and moves the ball down to the 30-yard line. He gets 6 yards and a 1st down carry. Kyle Mecklenburg was on the stop.
Last week, the Denver Broncos gave up an awful lot of big plays to the Bengals. Now, the Bengals are a little quicker team than Kansas City is, but I think the Kansas City Chiefs, in looking at that film, will try to do a lot of the same things Cincinnati did.
Donnelly down over the ball at center. As the Chiefs now set up 2nd down and 5 with position just outside the Denver 30. No score in the 1st quarter. Blackledge gets time, has an open man. The ball is caught by Stephon Page, and he is caught by Dennis Smith. He might have gone in, hit Smith, Matt Gatman by the collar. Out of bounds inside the 15-yard line, a 16-yard gain, and the Chiefs are threatening.
For Page, his 45th reception of the season. He already has 9 touchdowns. You see T.J. Tom Jackson 57 underneath. Dennis Smith on top in the coverage. This guy's lightning in a bottle, that's Stephon Page. Man, he can light him up and get in the end zone in a hurry.
What he did last week, that was his 45th catch of the season, averaging over 16 yards a catch, almost 17 He has scored 9 touchdowns. A 6'2", 191-pound free agent from Fresno State. Now one setback in. Extra tight ends. 1st and 10 at the 14-yard line of Denver. Moriarty and the Broncos give him little, if anything. Jackson led the tacklers. The scoreboard, nothing happening between the Giants and the Redskins in a very big game at RFK Stadium. The Redskins, the next opponent for the Broncos next Saturday at Mile High. Miami's moved in front of New Orleans 7-0 at a first quarter score. Ten minutes and 8 seconds to play in the first quarter. No score, but the Chiefs with their second possession are threatening. Blackledge swings it out. Moriarty gets it. He's caught by Hundley, who just closed down that 238-pound fullback like he's a kick returner.
He can do that, Ricky Hundley. Their leading tackler on defense, also their leader in assists on defense. Charged with a big responsibility in Joe Collier's defense. That was excellent coverage. Blackledge was looking for Stephon Page down the field that time. Dennis Smith was all over him, went to the outlet receiver.
Denver jumped up to a 28-0 first half lead 3 weeks ago against Kansas City. 2 sacks of Bill Kenny led the touchdown. There was a 70-yard punt return by Will Height, a fake punt play where they threw 40 yards for a touchdown. Here's a throw into the end zone. Too high for Emil Harry at the near corner. Louis Wright was covering. Just overthrown was Emil Harry, a rookie from Stanford.
Well, Don, you can't miss opportunities like this if you're Kansas City. 7-6, your last home game of the season. Denver is an excellent football team. Certainly no doubt about that. Their record indicates it. You got to get the ball in the end zone there. That's one missed opportunity today now for Kansas City. This guy's a lock. He missed a field goal last week to tie the game and send it into overtime against Buffalo, but this guy is a lock.
Best all time from a percentage standpoint. You see where he stands this year, 4 for 4. He's 13 of 19 overall. Nick Lowry. 30-yarder. On the way, and it's good. And so, on their second possession, the Kansas City Chiefs started the Denver 36-yard line, get down and kick the field goal, and they take a 3-0 lead. We'll have the Chiefs kickoff after this.
Ackley's on the sideline. He was lifted in a game when they were beating San Diego. At the time, Kansas City was 3-3. John Makovic, the head coach on the right with the hat on, it was his personal choice in 1983. Elway went first, Blackledge second. And he really hasn't lived up to what they thought he might be, his potential. This may be a make-or-break game for Todd Blackledge for his career as a Kansas City Chief.
Got a world of potential. Huge, 6'4", 220. He was the second of 6 quarterbacks drafted in '83. Elway went first to the Colts, Dickerson to the Rams, Warner to the Seahawks, and Blackledge to Kansas City. Now the spinning kickoff by Lowry. It's short.
Gonna bounce. Whoa.
Taking it on the run, living dangerously and moving the ball up nicely is Gene Lang out to the 35-yard line. So the Broncos get good field position to start their second drive.
And I thought that ball was going to bounce before Lang got to it.
This telecast is presented by authority of the National Football League. It is intended for the private use of our audience. Any rebroadcast or other use of this telecast without the express written consent of the Kansas City Chiefs and the National Football League is prohibited. Watson comes to the near flank. Vance Johnson, deep speed, is slotted bottom of the screen there. Winder goes out to the right as Elway looks to fire. Screen pass to Winder. And they get him at the 40, a gain of 4 yards. Or Gerald Wilhite gets it. And Art Still knocks down Gerald Wilhite at the 40-yard line. That's a play they love in Denver. Going to that screen maybe as many as 12 times a game.
They like it because generally with John Elway's passing ability and the speed of Vance Johnson, Paul Howard is hurt. Offensive guard. He was out there in front of that screen. He's a real anchor man on that Denver offensive line. As I was going to say, because linebackers drop so deep, to account for the strength of John Elway's arm, throwing screens on this offense is just a terrific idea. The more they can throw, the better off they're going to be. One, it eventually gets the linebackers up to the line of scrimmage, gives Elway more room at the 12 to 15-yard area of the field. Ooh, that doesn't look good.
Standout player Paul Howard in his 13th year from Brigham Young.
This Denver team, I think, has just gotten over, I know they've just gotten over some injuries to their offensive line. Now with Howard out, you don't want all of a sudden at the end of the season be suffering injuries like that. That looks like a serious knee injury. Can't put any weight on it at all. Still haven't picked up who's come in the lineup for him.
Winford Hood was waived this week by the Broncos. Mike Freeman is on the roster. We'll see who Dan Reeves elects to go to now as one of his veteran linemen goes out early in the game. Whether or not he'll be back, we'll find out shortly. We have 8:41 to play in the first quarter. Kansas City is a leader by 3 points over the favored Broncos on a 30-yard field goal by Nick Lowry.
It's Cooper at right guard for Howard.
And so John Elway looks to put it up on second down. Ball is slapped back at him. It was going to Vance Johnson. Pete Koch got a piece of the ball and knocked it back. And so now it brings up 3rd down and 6.
One of the things defensive coaches teach, make as much penetration as you can and get your hands up in the air. Elway kind of slings that one. And what are the chances of Pete Koch's hand being right in the way of that football? 3rd down and about 6.
Albert Lewis and Kevin Ross are the cornerbacks for Kansas City. Lloyd Burris and Duron Cherry are the safeties. Over the last 4 years, Duron Cherry's intercepted more balls than any defensive back in the NFL. 27. Elway caught by Duron Cherry, the Pro Bowl safety, back at the 38-yard line. So on 3rd down and 6, Elway can find nobody to go to. Duron Cherry comes up and gets him, and the Denver Broncos have to punt a second time.
On the last 2 weeks, John Elway has rushed for more yards than Sam Winder and Gerald Wilhite. He had 41 yards rushing last week, 51 the week before, and that time Cherry had him in the crosshairs, made sure he didn't get out of the crosshairs. Makes a big tackle.
Mike Horan, a free agent punter, kicked 2 seasons for the Eagles, was picked up last week against Cincinnati. Was his first game for the Broncos. He did well. Ready to punt the ball downfield to Jeff Smith. Blocked. Albert Lewis blocked the punt. Horan falls out into the 27-yard line. He might be hurt. Mike Horan's all right. He did get the ball, but it makes no difference now as it turns over to Kansas City. The punt blocked by Albert Lewis.
Don, that's the 4th time this season that the Chiefs have blocked a punt. Horan never gets it off. Lewis comes from the outside and gets to the ball before it gets to Horan's foot. That's not Horan's fault. And now the Chiefs with just a spectacular opportunity. This is what you face when you're Denver. You're 10-3.
He almost ran by it if he
Absolutely. You're playing for the division. Kansas City has no pressure on them whatsoever. They can go after everything.
That's the 2nd time this season Albert Lewis has blocked a punt. The 3rd by the Kansas City special teams, and now Blackledge goes to the run, and Moriarty takes on the Denver defense to the 22-yard line. Gain of 4, 5 on the carry straight ahead. It is a 3-0 game. The Chiefs are in the lead. Albert Lewis, a standout cornerback from Grambling.
On the feeling of the Chiefs coaches all week was that after all the turnovers the first time these 2 teams met, Kansas City played Denver pretty tough. This is a confident Kansas City football team against Denver. 1, they know them well. 2, they think they match up well against them.
Second down, a long 6. Herman Hurd dips in and dips down to the 19-yard line. He'll be 2 yards short of a Chiefs first down. Linebacker Jim Ryan got him for the Broncos. Giants and Redskins still scoreless, as are the other 3 games.
And with the pass here.
The wide receiver core depleted. Carlos Carson's out with an injury. One of the best. Now from the shotgun on 3rd and 3, Blackledge loses the handle. It's a free ball, and who's got it? The Denver Broncos get it. Tony Colorado, a rookie from Southern California, scoops up the ball as Todd Blackledge is roundly booed, and well-deserved, as he just gave up the ball without being touched.
The receiver was open. If Blackledge can throw the ball, it's a completion. It just slips right out of his hands. Now, when the officials look at there. When the officials put the ball on the ground, the bottom of it is wet. They try to keep it as dry as possible, but this is what's happened to Kansas City. They've shot themselves in the foot all season long, especially in the last 3 games.
So Colorado is quickly on the ball, and now the Chiefs' drive is stopped, and the Broncos take over at their 46-yard line. After a Denver mistake, Kansas City makes one. Winder taking on tacklers down to the 47-yard line. Kevin Ross, one of the cornerbacks, made the stop for Kansas City. We're down to 6 minutes to play in the first quarter. Chiefs continue to lead 3-0 on the 30-yard field goal by Nick Lowry.
Good lead block here by Wilhite. He gets the cornerback out. Actually, it's the safety Burris, and then Winder, a real driving running back, picks up about 8.
Second down. Elway and the Broncos need about 3 for a first down. Winder right up the middle behind Bishop and Bryan, and he's down to the 43-yard line. Pete Koch was the tackler for Kansas City. 2 unusual errors in this game. Denver trying to punt for a second time. Snap came in. Something came in late. One thing that did come in unblocked was Albert Lewis, and Horan never could even kick at the ball, and Kansas City took it over. Then quickly, Blackledge, putting his arm back, just loses the ball, and the Broncos get it back.
That's the first time the Broncos have had a punt blocked in 1986, too.
Wilhite. Nothing. Cut as he gets to the 43-yard line. Lewis Cooper, an outside linebacker, came across and made the play.
On both ball clubs at the outset of this football game, very conservative in their approaches. Don't want to throw the ball down the field. Any turnovers like that. Denver running the ball at the corners. You don't want turnovers in big games, especially in the early parts of big games.
We had big mistakes already in this one as Elway takes a look deep. Now he's in trouble, and John Elway rifles it downfield, but Watson can't hold the ball at the 27-yard line of KC.
Don, it looked like Lloyd Burris, 34, got a hand on it. He was in front of the receiver. He was covering Mobley. It's Kevin Ross behind Watson. Watson's claiming interference, but I think this ball is tipped before it gets to him. They're both looking back at the ball. That's what's called incidental contact. No flag.
Looked like Watson might have been tripped. Kevin Ross, one of the best one-on-one coverers in the NFL. Now Elway on 3rd and 10 sets up in the shotgun, and he'll throw it from the 47-yard line of Denver. Mobley, the rookie, takes it for a first down to the 30-yard line. They needed 10. They got 13, and Orson Mobley, with his 10th catch of the season, makes a big play for the Broncos, and now they're in range.
Going with the underneath stuff, you see the tight end release at the top. He's right in the middle of your picture. Robinson is the man in coverage, and Mobley with a nice catch. A lot of time for John Elway to throw that pass. Good completion for a first down.
So the ball now down to the 30-yard line. It is 3-0 Kansas City. Elway going right back up. This one's to Sammy Winder. Bishop through one block, but then lots of people are in, and the play is down at the 28-yard line.
Whitney Paul did a good job of getting there right as Winder caught the pass. He kind of destroyed the timing of it. An illegal block in the back by Denver. Looks like they're calling it on 54 Bishop. That was well diagnosed by Kansas City. Very tough to. Here's the call.
So far, Trump, these aren't the Elway passing numbers we're used to.
Illegal use of the hands. Offense. Number 54. 10-yard penalty. Replay
Elway,
down.
2 for
First
5
down.
for 2 yards passing so far. That'll change.
Now One of the things offensive linemen have to do is make legal blocks. You see Bishop right at the bottom of the screen. When Whitney Paul, 57, gets by him, he pushes him in the back. That destroys the timing of the screen.
Elway with that quick back pedal. He likes to run, and he's going to go a long way as John Elway takes it inside the 20-yard line, and John Elway is down to the 13. The best running quarterback in the American Conference again, as you see, averaging 4.8 yards a rush. That time, John Elway ran for 23.
In the latter stages of this season, Elway suddenly discovered that there's no man on the defense who accounts for the quarterback. And he's a big, tough kid with lots of strength, so he doesn't mind getting in there with the fat, mean guys. Head first dive, 23-yard pickup. Huge play for Denver.
Last week, he put the game on ice against Cincinnati when he called a quarterback draw on 3rd and long. He ran for 17 yards and a first down, and the Broncos ran off the clock and won the game by 6 points. Winder on a slant takes it down to the 12-yard line. The Kansas City defense is one of the best in the NFL. On an average play, they allow the opposition 4.3 yards. That includes passes and runs all season long. And that is the second lowest total in the NFL, behind only the Chicago Bears.
I'll tell you something about the Denver Broncos, too. In the season of 1986, they've gotten 31 takeaways. Make it 32 today. They've produced 92 points on those takeaways. And they're about to produce again.
Denver, trailing 3-0, has won the last 3 meetings between these two teams, and Will Height can't get to the lead swing pass. So it brings up 3rd down and 8 now. Feeney was covering as best he could. This series has been a series of big swings. At the outset, when these two teams started playing in the American Football League, Kansas City won 25 of the first 27 meetings. Then Denver won 11 of the last 13 after that. Broncos have won the last 3.
Watch this defense as it's deployed by Kansas City. This might be a spot for the quarterback draw. Let's see who's over the nose of the center. Look at that spot right in the middle of the defense, Don.
Wide open. This is the 10th play of the drive after the Blackledge fumble. Chiefs lead at 3-0 late in the first quarter. Markers down, and the play is whistled dead.
Against Denver.
Stops the clock with 1:37 to play.
Offense. Number 63, 5-yard penalty. Replay the down, 3rd down.
Mark Cooper called for being in motion early. We'll check the scoreboard again. Cleveland has now taken a 7-0 lead on the Bills at Buffalo. Miami out in front again by 7 at New Orleans. Minnesota's come from behind to lead the Packers 6-3. Pittsburgh still up on Detroit. Colts and Atlanta tied 7-7. Here is Elway on 3rd and 13, dipping it over the middle to Gene Lang, and Gene Lang takes it down to the 8-yard line. And that sets up a field goal try for Denver. Mark Robinson was on the stop for the Chiefs. Dan Reeves sending in his field goal unit now, looking to tie this game.
Tackled by Whitney Paul and Mark Robinson.
Rich Carlos has hit 15 of 20 field goals this season. This will be a short one. It'll be a 17-yard attempt. Or a 27-yard attempt from the 17-yard line. He is right there, and so with 53 seconds to play in the first quarter, the game is now tied 3-3, and Denver kicks off when we come back to Arrowhead.
Over early. The longer you allow Kansas City in this ball game, the better they're going to make an opportunity of it.
Jeff Smith from Nebraska takes it back to the 27-yard line, and there the Chiefs go on offense. Todd Blackledge comes back out at quarterback. An All-American quarterback at Penn State. In the offseason, John Makovic said he is our guy. He is the starter at Kansas City. And then in the 7th game, he was replaced and had not started another game until today.
One thing about Todd Blackledge is that generally the offense of the Chiefs is very conservative. They don't throw the ball down the field a lot. which is, I think, exactly what they should do. Throw the ball down the field. Loosen up the Denver defense.
Herman Hurd and Moriarty are in the offensive backfield of Kansas City. That's Hurd in motion. Blackledge squeezing that ball tight, throws a strike for a first down out to the 43-yard line. Big Henry Marshall in position and screens off the defender for a 15-yard gain.
That was right on the money. Marshall just went down and ran like a 12-yard hitch. Just stopped right in front of the coverage man. Jim Ryan, the linebacker, finally gets there. Look at that. Nothing fancy, just a hitch. It's in front of Harden and inside Ryan. Right, a first down pickup. Keep running it until they stop it, Kansas City.
Marshall, a 10-year veteran from Missouri, has had 37 catches this season now, 2 today, both for first down. Right back up. Here comes Mecklenburg. But Blackledge, a running quarterback, heads for the 12th man, and the sideline saves him. As on first down, Todd Blackledge ran for a gain of 6 yards. He's as good a runner as Elway. We'll come back to Kansas City after this. Through 1 quarter of play, scoreboard is even. It's a 3-3 game, Broncos and Chiefs. There's the rest of the numbers from the first 15 minutes, Trump.
First, a turnover by Kansas City. The ball slipping out of Todd Blackledge's hand, and the blocked punt by Kansas City. There's Bill Kenny on the sideline, warmed up, threw the ball well. The word is from the bench that Blackledge has any problems. Kenny can play and will play.
Blackledge was pulled in that San Diego game 7 games ago, and Kenny came in. The Chiefs went on a 4-game win streak and up their record to 7-3. And then they started on another slide. Right now they're 7-6 on the season. They're mathematically in the hunt, but very much on the ropes from a playoff standpoint. Denver, of course, can clinch in the AFC West divisional title with a win today. Opening play of the second quarter, a 2nd and 4. Here comes Herman Hurd, and he breaks into open field and takes on the Denver defenders down to the 43-yard line. Greg Craig in the nose tackle brought him down. Cincinnati has just gone in front of the Patriots, 7-0 at Foxborough. Cleveland holding to a 7-0 lead on Kevin Mack's short touchdown run. The Bears up on Tampa Bay, and Marino's just thrown for a touchdown to break a tie at New Orleans. Colts score. That's news. Blackledge on 1st and 10, and the ball is down to the 40-yard line. There was a gain of 4 yards on the play. Herman Hurd coming out of the backfield. Todd Blackledge, a Phi Beta Kappa graduate of Penn State. Dad, an offensive coach with the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Ron Blackledge is his dad. This is going to be there's Joe Collier, a man in constant motion. He's the defensive coordinator for Denver. Never anywhere without that book in the front of his pants.
He calls the signals in the chess game that is Denver's defense, one of the most complex and effective in the NFL.
Here comes the blitz. Mecklenburg.
He got it. Mecklenburg over the top, but Blackledge throws what looked to be a strike, and then coming up to break up the play was Louis Wright.
Now, see, Don, you got to make those plays if you're Todd Blackledge. Now, I realize you're asking an awful lot, but you get a certain defense, you call the audible, watch the receiver at the top. He does have the inside on Louis Wright. You got to throw it right at his numbers. That's a play they practice every day during the week. You got to make that completion. You take him out of the blitz if you make that completion.
I'll tell you one thing you don't do is try to chop Mecklenburg. He just jumps over anybody in front of him. Now it's 3rd down and 6 for Kansas City. Chiefs are 0 for 3 on previous 3rd down conversion tries. Holding. There's going to be a holding call. Coming hard was Freddie Gilbert, and it looked like somebody pulled him down. Might have been Irv Eatman.
Pulled him right to the ground. It's holding against Kansas City. Eatman, coming over from the U.S. Football League, for his career has been an offensive right tackle. And playing left tackle now for the Kansas City Chiefs. He still has a right tackle stance. That is, his outside foot is up, inside foot back.
Holding. Offense. Number 75. Penalty is declined. It will be the 4th down.
Irv Eatman, a former consensus All-American at UCLA and was regarded as maybe the best offensive lineman in the U.S. Football League. Although that tackle that went to Minnesota, Zimmerman's as good as I've ever seen. He was in the USFL.
On watch out here. This is a prime spot for Denver to pull something tricky. Plus field position. In a game maybe to save the coach's job. Colbert punts it.
Angles it far side, and it's going to be inside the 15-yard line and takes another Chiefs roll.
Hit a Chief, though.
I don't know. They're looking at it 5-yard line. Let's see. Now they are moving it up to the 15.
Yeah, it hit Scott Radisick, so that's an illegal touch. The ball will come back to that spot. Watch this ball bounce off number 97's leg. Spaney, 59, is right there in front. When it hits Radisick, that's called an illegal touch. Now, whatever Denver does with the ball, they can pick it up and run with it, try for a touchdown, no jeopardy. So Denver will get the ball at their own.
The Broncos are having at it. It's a 3-3 game with 13:26 to play in the first half. Elway sends Winder to a different position on a 1st and 10 play for the Broncos. Fake to Winder, quick out. And down the side of the field goes the rookie from Purdue, Mark Jackson, who gets a greeting from about 5 Chiefs, led by Pete Koch. Pete Koch, now a movie star. He's in the new Clint Eastwood movie. Went out to the premiere on his day off last week. Plane was late into LAX. He missed the premiere, but was happy to get there late.
Now, the more you watch this Denver offense, the more you realize with their gifted athletes, they try to get the ball in the hands of these gifted athletes as quickly as they can and hope they can break a tackle, just as Jackson did there.
Elway with both his wide receivers set left. Now Watson comes in motion. 2nd and 4. Tough Sammy Winder, who does a workmanlike job game after game. Running for over 700 yards this year. He's caught 23 passes. Doesn't get the big plays, a 3.5 per carry runner. But he's always there, always delivering. Sammy Winder.
And one of the stars of this Kansas City defense is a rookie, Dino Hackett, number 56. He's from Appalachian State. His brother, of course, a tight end on Denver from Elon College. They like this kid enough to consider him a chance for Defensive Rookie of the Year in the AFC.
Power formation on 3rd and less than a yard for the Broncos. 3-3 game early in the 2nd quarter. Winder tries it. He had to get just across the 25-yard line, and he did. Art still got him. Art still having yet another big season, a 4-time Pro Bowler at defensive left end, number 67. The number 2 player picked in the 78 draft. Number 1 that year, Earl Campbell.
And so far, the Chiefs have not made it easy on Denver in this first half. That's the coach's biggest nightmare when you've got to win a game, when you need a game. And this Chief team, defensively, can make it tough for Denver all day long.
Well, they played very well at Mile High after all those early mistakes against the Broncos. And they lost 38-17 3 weeks ago. Now Elway lets slide. He's got deep feet out there with the ball. Mark Jackson takes it down to the 22-yard line. Kevin Ross was covering, but the rookie receiver from Purdue with a change of step and a quick accelerating move blew on by him. And the Broncos hit the biggest play of the game, a 50-yard pass play.
And that was right on the money by Elway, too. He has time, good protection. And the receiver, Jackson, is stumbling a little bit. He regains his step, and this one is absolutely laces up on the outside foot. Perfect. You couldn't hand it to him any better.
Mark Jackson with his 30th catch of the year, one of his biggest. He's averaging 21 yards a catch almost. He probably is averaging 21 after that long reception. A 50-yarder. And so now, in a 3-3 game, it is first down for Denver at the 23-yard line of Kansas City. Elway looking again. He's looking at Watson. Now he's looking at Mobley, who's open, and the ball is intercepted. Deron Cherry with his 7th interception of the season. An all-pro player. Deron Cherry has now intercepted 7 passes this season, each of the last 4 seasons. 28 interceptions the last 4 years, and he was a free agent.
And you can see this is kind of the secondary receiver. Cherry's waiting in the woods, and he makes the biggest play so far.
What a player, a free agent from Rutgers, now a Pro Bowl player. He'll be in that Pro Bowl probably for a 4th year in a row. As he intercepts John Elway, a diving interception. Elway had Mobley open. It looked like a sure touch for the Broncos. At the last moment, Duron Cherry stopped the drive and turned it the other way.
And, of course, last week, Denver, for the first time this season, did not have a turnover in beating Cincinnati.
Now Blackledge. Good numbers so far. One problem was that fumble that stopped the Kansas City drive in the Denver end. Moriarty bangs out to the 25-yard line. Moriarty's one of the strongest players in the NFL. It's hard to believe, but the high school players out there and the college players will know what dips are, and he can do 70 dips below your body. Giants go out in front of Washington 7-0. Cincinnati and a Kennebrew touchdown one, still up 7-0 on New England. Cleveland holding to its 7-advantage lead over Buffalo. Marino's thrown for 2 touchdowns. Lorenzo Hampton has run for a 3rd for Miami. We'll be going to NFL 86 at halftime, as right now Herman Hurd is taken on by the Broncos. Mecklenburg shooting the gap and knocking him down. No gain on the play. Might have been a loss of a yard.
On an assist to Jim Ryan, he turned it back inside, and then Carl Mecklenburg, this alignment inside linebacker, goes right for that football. One of the best tacklers the Denver Broncos have. A guy of great strength for his size.
Woodard, who combined on the stop, is another standout athlete.
This guy is everywhere. No telling where you might find him. Strong safety, cornerback, linebacker, nose tackle.
Including on the All-Pro team, Carl Mecklenburg. The great ones don't all come in the first couple of rounds. The 12th round draft choice from Minnesota. Now it's 3rd down, a long 4 for Blackledge and the Chiefs. Tip ball. And Kansas City has to punt as Blackledge didn't appear certain to where he wanted to go. Freddie Gilbert was rushing. He tipped the ball.
Don, actually, it's very nice, very lucky for Kansas City that ball was tipped.
Right, very.
Gilbert's right at the edge of the picture, but Woodard, 52, is right in front of the receiver, and yet Blackledge locks on to that receiver. And if he throws it out there, I think Woodard makes the interception.
Lewis Colbert back at his 10-yard line to punt for the Chiefs. Will Hunt back at the Denver 30. Low kick. Will Hyde will bring it back, and maybe a long way. He's inside the 50-yard line and to the Kansas City side of the field as they knock him out of bounds to the 48-yard line. Walt Arnold came across to make the hit. 34-yard punt, a 10-yard return, and the Broncos will try again when we come back to break the tie. Whitney Paul, a very fast linebacker, troubled by a knee problem. They just put a brace on it. It's expected he'll be back. Starting player for the Denver Broncos on the bench, Paul Howard, a very good guard. He went down with a leg problem. We don't know if he'll be back or not. Mark Cooper's been in his absence. Right now, the Broncos have the ball at the 48-yard line of Kansas City. It's a 3-3 game. Elway has passed for 83 yards on 7 of 12. He has been intercepted once. His last throw, you'll remember, this time Sammy Winder gets some, not a lot. Maybe a yard is all where they spot the ball at the 47. Gary Spaney, veteran linebacker from Kansas State, made the stop for the Chiefs. A reminder to our viewers that we'll be selecting the Budweiser most valuable player for today's game at the conclusion of the game. Winder has now run the ball 7 times for the Broncos for just 22 yards. Elway is ready to gun it downfield on 2nd and 9. John Elway blasted back at the 48-yard line.
Lewis Cooper and Pete Koch get him. They came with an all-out blitz the second time Elway's been sacked. He was locked on to the slant drag pattern out here to the right. The outside receiver goes on the slant. Johnson on the drag. You can see the pressure. Pete Koch finally falls to his legs. So far, this Kansas City defense has played well enough to win.
It plays well enough, Trump, to win just about every week. It is one of the better defenses in the league. It is the reason this team has won 7 games. If the offense ever kept step, they'd be a playoff team. Elway ready to roll it out. out. Deron Cherry comes up. Elway throws a strike to Watson at the 34-yard line on the run. It's a first down for Denver. Elway with an excellent play. Saw where the line of scrimmage was. Pulled up. He could have run for another 10, but as it was, he gets downfield for a first down, an 18-yarder to Watson.
And that's one of the things about John Elway. We mentioned last week when they played Cincinnati that Elway is one of the great creators now in the game. He can take a negative, turn it into a positive. That's exactly what he did there. Rolling left, squares his shoulders, throws it on a line down to Watson. Big first down conversion.
Winder on first down gets to the 31-yard line where Dino Hackett, a standout rookie, the #1 tackler for Kansas City, makes the stop from an inside linebacker position. He was a second-round draft choice, number 56.
Winder ran right out of his shoe. Goes to the sideline to put it back on, and Gene Lang will come in. There's 3 good players right there. Did you see that? Here's Winder. His shoe back on.
This game is tied 3-3. The Broncos started the season with 6 straight wins. They've only been a game over 500, though, in their last 7 games. They're 4-3 over the last 7. The long ball. Man is open, and so is the defense, and the ball is lost. Mark Jackson coming off the flank. Albert Lewis came over to possibly affect the play. The ball was in the hands of Mark Jackson, but out of the hands. Doug Flutie has just run 4 yards for a Chicago Bear touchdown, his first in the NFL, and they lead Tampa Bay 21-0.
This is excellent coverage by Albert Lewis. Gets right there, but Jackson almost comes up with the athletic play. Last week, reception for a touchdown in the end zone, his first in the NFL. It looked like he went up about 4 rungs of the ladder. A very gifted athlete against a very gifted athlete in Albert Lewis.
Albert Lewis led the American Conference with 8 interceptions last season. He has 3 this year. Here's an all-out blitz. Broncos pick it up, but Mobley can't get the ball to the 21 on a 3rd and 7 play. And so that sets up a long field goal attempt by Rich Carlos with 5:48 to play in the first half.
John Elway's mad at himself. Mobley was open. Mark Robinson was the man in coverage. And Mobley, for his size, actually a pretty active player. Look at it. Tries to get it with one hand, almost gets it done, but just slightly overthrown. So Carlos comes on for a long one. 47-yarder.
Kubiak, the holder for Denver. On the way. No good. And so with 5:43 to play in the first half, Dan Reeves' Broncos come up empty on a long field goal try, and the Chiefs take over the ball in the 3-3 game.
Last week he made a very long one. This week just ever so short.
The Jets.
Ability to direct the Kansas City offense again. I think, Trump, he is the one intangible that John Elway has in abundance that Blackledge doesn't have, is self-confidence at this point. He's doubting himself.
Todd Blackledge has had his problems here with Kansas City. Of course, they've changed a lot of people. He's gone with a couple of different offensive coordinators, and it's been difficult for him. Of the class of '83, this guy's really the only guy that has not succeeded.
And, of course, he was the second quarterback picked after Elway. He needs a big game to get it back because everything is there for Todd Blackledge. Enormous ability. This time he goes to Henry Marshall, who's been his prime target today, and Marshall, with his 3rd reception, has the ball out to the 34-yard line. The scoreboards are changing on this 14th Sunday of play. The Giants, in a touchdown pass to Mark Bavaro, their tight end, have taken a lead over the Redskins. Doug Flutie with his first NFL touchdown, a 4-yard run, and the Bears are blowing out Tampa Bay. Five minutes and 38 seconds to play in the first half. 3-3 the count. Whoa. Mecklenburg had a hand on the ball, and very nearly Mecklenburg had the ball.
And that's the second time Kansas City's tried that little swing pass. Freddie Gilbert knocked it down the last time. This time Mecklenburg, he starts the pass rush, and then he drops off when he sees it. But Blackledge is going to throw it. Almost makes the interception. Yeah, also notice they've got a new guy in there at offensive left tackle. They're playing John Alt. Herb Beekman is out.
Beekman called on a holding call, but earlier in the game, I don't believe he's been injured. Right now, it's 3rd and 7. Each has not converted a 3rd down today on 5 tries. Ball too high, incomplete. Blackledge stamps a foot down. He knew he had an open man, Emil Harry. But Kansas City will have to punt the ball again.
And that's the 2nd time now that Todd Blackledge has missed an open receiver. If Emil Harry catches that, Louis Wright was going for the interception. If Harry catches it, I think he goes in for a score.
Instead, Louis Colbert will punt the ball again for Kansas City. Gerald Wilhite standing back at the Denver 22. 10 men a humming, but they can't get to the ball. Low kick, a wobbler. Wilhite loses the handle. And then Tays back at the 31-yard line. So with 5:20 to go in the first half, the Broncos go back on offense as things start to heat up. Lewis Cooper was down to make the play. Blackledge 0 for 6 on 3rd down tries today.
And the margin of error for quarterbacks nowadays in the NFL is just ever so slight. It's inches. It used to be feet.
January 1st, a big day for college football on NBC. January 2nd, the national championship game at the Fiesta Bowl. Right now, Elway fires and Mobley can't hold it at the 42-yard line. Miami of Florida and Penn State getting set to meet in the Fiesta Bowl with the national title on the line. Elway now Trump 8 of 16 for 101 yards. One expensive interception.
Kansas City's putting a lot of pressure on Elway. That time Tim Cofield, outside linebacker on the blitz, was right at the legs of John Elway. He's 55. Wilhite tries to block him, right? When you keep getting up after every pass attempt, that wears a quarterback out.
Raider philosophy, hit him somehow, even if you don't stop the pass. The game wears on, takes its toll. Elway dropping on a 2nd and 10 play. They get him again, a 3rd sack of John Elway, and Pete Pop was in first, along with Lewis Cooper, a blitzing linebacker.
They're coming from the outside. That's Cooper's 2nd sack of the day. This pressure is coming from the outside. The inside guys are doing the job. But watch what happens from the left. Koch there first, and then Cooper. Elway down for the 3rd time. Now, this is a coverage sack. These cornerbacks of the Chiefs, good man-to-man bump-and-run coverage people, no Denver receiver open.
Great second look. Our producer today for NBC Sports, Steve Danz. Our director, John Gonzalez, as Elway on 3rd down and 18 is on the run. Here's a penalty marker. This is going to come back. It'll probably end up in the end zone. Not quite, but it's all coming back. A penalty marker is down in the Denver backfield.
Once again, he creates, though, doesn't he? Gets out of a jam and is able to get the ball off, holding against Denver. It will come back. But you have to marvel continuously at Elway's ability to get out of trouble.
Holding. Offense. Number 76. Half the distance. Replay the down. 3rd down.
Like Ken Lanier, Trump, the right tackle was called for it.
He's blocking Art Still, and that pressure continues on Elway. Boy, when John Elway gets loose, there isn't a more dangerous quarterback in the NFL.
Good as there's been thrown on the run. But now with the holding call against the Broncos, they're set back inside their 15-yard line. It's still a 3-3 game with 4.5 minutes to play in the first half. And the clock running. 3rd down and a ton now. 3rd down and 28. Intercepted. It's picked off by Sherman Colcroft. And he's down to the 17-yard line. So a 2nd interception of John Elway, and the Chiefs are in position to break the tie.
On his ball was tipped by Vance Johnson. Elway throwing to Vance Johnson, 82. Behind him,
Kickoff there. They had 5 defensive backs in the ball game. His third interception of the year. And Kansas City with a great opportunity here. One of those room service interceptions. You can see all the defensive backs. Total zone coverage. Kickoff gets the deflection. Chiefs' best field position.
Now let's see if the Bronco defense can keep the Kansas City Chiefs out. First and 10 KC. Blackledge to Herman Hurd. And he dips around the corner and goes out of bounds at the 9-yard line. 8-yard gain on the play.
Don, everything is going against Dan Reeves and the Denver Broncos right here. One, the crowd is obviously in the football game. Two, the 2 interceptions have given Kansas City great field position on 2 separate drives. And that
Just feeds the opportunistic feeling of the Kansas City Chiefs. This is their Super Bowl. Steve Foley finally makes the tackle, but the Broncos have to do something now to quiet the crowd, to take the emotion out of the game. Listen to them.
Chiefs have fired up their crowd with a couple of big defensive plays. 2 interceptions of Elway today. It's a 3-3 game. Timing pattern. Stephon Page has it for a touchdown if the arms go up, and they do. Was white with Page, but the throw was perfect. We'll watch again.
Whatever problems Blackledge has had, this is perfectly thrown. Page has been sensational for Kansas City. That's his 10th touchdown reception. Keeps his feet in. And now Denver's in trouble.
4:01 to play as Lowry will look for a 10th point for Kansas City, and he gets it, and the Chiefs extend their lead to 10-3.
Now, this pattern is called a fade pattern. The receiver is hoping for contact from the defensive back. When the defensive back makes contact, then you see the receiver fade away from the defender. This ball is perfectly thrown. You got to get it up, get it in the air so the receiver can adjust to it. We can't see his feet, but the official's right there looking at it. Hands up. 10-0, 10-3 Kansas City. This is not working for Denver. This is the script that Dan Reeves threw out. He didn't want this.
Washington has now tied the Giants, as you see. Buffalo with a field goal by Scott Norwood gets back in the game. Miami blowing out the Saints at New Orleans. Marino's thrown for 2 already in the first half. The Vikings and the Packers, who've been playing for a lot of years. Cardinals now tie St. Louis. Pair of field goals there. Joe Collier goes to the notebook. And he can't stop interceptions by his team's offense.
Underneath his left arm, of course, all those Polaroid pictures that his assistants take from upstairs to try to see what's going on. He's asking Mecklenburg, what are they doing? What do they do? Who have they got in there? What are they trying to do? There's Charlie West of Denver and the other assistant coaches up in the box.
Stephon Page with his 10th touchdown reception of the season. Wide receiver from Fresno State who came to Kansas City as a free agent 4 seasons ago. So it's a 10-3 game. The underdog Chiefs ready to kick it off to Denver. The Broncos looking to win their division title with a victory today, but right now they're down by 7. Ken Bell, a rookie sprinter from Boston College, does a big job returning the kickoff. Jonathan Hayes ran him out of bounds, but now Elway and the Broncos start in good field position, and they need it with 3:52 to play in the first half.
Watch this old tight end, number 84. He's down there on the special teams. He gets absolutely shillelagh'd, put on the ground.
Sometimes they even call that blocking from behind.
Yeah, I think it was Como. I couldn't quite pick up his number. I think it was Darren Como who put him on the ground.
Elway will be looking to go downfield now. He's been intercepted twice in this game. Again a blitz, but again John Elway eludes it. Throwing a catch to Watson, who comes back at the ball with Albert Lewis right on him. It's a first down.
Geno Hackett is hurt.
Not for long.
He's up, though, once again. Watch Watson. He knows that as long as the play is on, he's got to keep trying to be a receiver. That is, get open. Albert Lewis does all he can to possibly break up the pass, but just the tremendous athletic ability of Elway and of Watson. And once again, they turn a real bad play into a big play.
Aaron Pearson now in the game. He's backing the line for Kansas City. Elway on first down. Watson looked back at the ball, and he was knocked off the play and then comes back to make a catch at the 31-yard line. Good for a 15-yard gain. So the Broncos go right down the field on the right arm of John Elway to Watson.
And it looked like Vance Johnson was the primary receiver. Watson's just clearing out. A little holding by Kevin Ross, but when in doubt, throw it to the guy with the great hands, and that's Steve Watson.
We're down to 2:49 to play in the first half. It's a 10-3 game. The Chiefs lead the Broncos. Elway now has completed 10 of 19 throws for 129 yards, but he's been intercepted twice, once in the end zone. Another hard throw to Watson, and he is down to the 22-yard line. Gain on that play of 8. First down throw as the cornerbacks are playing off Watson, and he's coming back at the ball.
And it looks like Kansas City's changed their defensive thinking. You can see Albert Lewis, 29. This is a total zone. Kevin Ross is on the inside, and the Broncos just taking advantage of what the defense shows. They're off. Let's throw it short. Kansas City's got to get right up in those receivers' faces.
Kansas City team still smarting from the loss that suffered at Denver 3 weeks ago, 38-17. Elway now trying to get his team back in this. They're down 10-3. Long ball to the end zone. Mobley won't get to that as it hits almost into row A. And the game clock is down to 2 minutes to play in the first half. So the 2-minute warning is given. Elway and the Denver Broncos on offense when we 1:59 to go in the first half. The Kansas City Chiefs a surprise leader over the favored Denver Broncos 10-3. At halftime, we'll be going to NFL 86 on this 14th Sunday of play, where Bob Costas, Ahmad Rashad, and Paul McGuire are standing by. Todd Blackledge at the controls of the Kansas City offense today after Bill Kenny was benched because of a bad thumb. Blackledge and Kenny on the sideline. Kenny lives in Greeley, Colorado, went to Northern Colorado. And Blackledge, his confidence has to be up now after some early problems. He just fired a touchdown pass to Stephon Page that gave the Chiefs their 10-3 lead.
Denver now with the pressure on this third down.
Third and short. Wilhite and Winder are the setbacks for the Broncos. Ball taken in by Vance Johnson coming off the flank. It almost looked like a legal motion, but it's ruled he did not turn upfield early as he came in motion, then went back to the far side.
And that was a great catch by Vance Johnson, too. Almost had to spin completely around as he remains on the sideline. It's kind of a double pump motion when he goes back out there trying to catch everybody on the inside in the wash. Spaney gets there late. That's a nice catch. There's Vance Johnson earlier this season with a knee injury, but he's still being attended to on the sideline by the trainers. It looks like they're looking at his head.
He injured a knee against the Raiders in the opener this season. Leading receiver for the Broncos is Steve Watson with 4 catches for 54 yards. Mark Jackson has 2 for 58. Mobley with 1 for 13. Vance Johnson up and about, ready to go again, as now there's 1:43 showing in the second quarter.
For Steve Watson, he's not really been a big part of the offense the last 6 or 8 weeks. 4 catches today, the most he's had in almost 6 weeks of play for Denver.
The 38-17 loss the Chiefs suffered at Denver 3 weeks ago started them on a 3-game slide. They lost then to St. Louis, and last Sunday here at Arrowhead 17-14 to the Buffalo Bills. And in that game, the Kansas City defense was guilty of 10 penalties. It kept Buffalo drives alive. Today they've not had any that I recall.
Bill Kenny also threw 2 interceptions in the end zone. That's how close they were to winning. This Denver team, a team of character, they realize they got to answer that last scoring drive by Kansas City with one of their own. This has been their best drive of the day so far, Don.
Not to be confused with a team of characters. Every team has some of those characters. Here's Elway swinging it out, and Wilhite takes it down to the 10-yard line. Gerald Wilhite out of the backfield stops the clock going out of bounds. He is ahead on the play for a gain of about 8 yards. Second and 2.
This Denver offense does so many things. Now they take advantage of the blitz. You see 54, he's right there in the face.
Cofield.
It's Tim Cofield, so they take advantage of the blitz. Go ahead, blitz. We'll roll your way. You got Wilhite out there in single coverage with Burris. With Deron Cherry, and a nice completion.
Second down and almost 3. Timing pattern to the end zone. Watson goes up, and the ball is tipped away.
Whoa.
Kevin Ross knocked it away when Watson was on his way down for what seemed to be a touchdown.
Watson had it. That fade pattern once again. Ross was beaten, and when Watson came down with the ball, Kevin Ross put up with his hands. Look, this is a touchdown if his feet hit the ground. But just before they do, Kevin Ross just puts his hand up. Oh, what a defensive play. Elway now 13 of 24, 149 yards and 2 interceptions. This is good coverage. Watson goes up, and he says, all right, 6 points, and it's knocked away by Ross.
Excellent second look. His deep touchdown, as you pointed out, Trump, it would have been a touchdown.
Wilhite.
Another throw. Gerald Wilhite stuck and docked at the 6-yard line, but he has a Denver Bronco first down. Kevin Ross knocks him down. And now with 1 minute and 19 seconds and the clock running, the Denver Broncos have it first and goal at the Kansas City 6.
And that's twice now that Wilhite has been absolutely uncovered out in the flat. Denver's found something that they can consistently do against the Chief defense.
Alice standing by. He's hoping they'll get it in, as all the Broncos are. And this play whistled dead before the snap of the ball.
Yeah, Kansas City took a timeout. They had 12 men on the field.
Good idea.
Timeout. Kansas City, their first timeout.
So we'll be back for what should be a very eventful final minute of the first half. Ricky with Bob Trumpy back at Arrowhead Stadium. It's an overcast December day here. Temperatures in the mid-40s. The Giants now with another touchdown had taken a 14-7 lead on Washington in that battle of co-leaders in the NFC East. Cincinnati continues to lead New England. Doug Flutie with his first touchdown in the NFL today for the Chicago Bears. He's at the controls against Tampa Bay. We have 57 seconds to go to the half, Trump.
This is a tough spot to call any play. This is where coaches earn their money. This is a guessing game right now, Don.
So they go to the run, and taking on tacklers is Sammy Winder, and he is down about to the 3-yard line. Pete Koch knocked him down.
Dino Hackett is on the sideline. The report from the bench is last week he pulled a hamstring. They're going to let him sit for a little bit, kind of catch his breath. Broncos taking their time.
It's a 10-3 game. Kansas City's in the lead. Denver challenging. Time running out in the first half. Elway against the blitz. Fires. It's caught for a touchdown. And again, Sammy Winder delivers for the Broncos. His 12th touchdown of the season.
Kansas City sent the strong safety Lloyd Burris. He came on the blitz. Winder just releases out in the flat. Excellent call by Dan Reeves. He can't be comfortable. That was a very good drive. Started at their own 41. Pressure on. They get it down the field in the end zone. That was an 11-play drive.
Today could be the day for Denver. If they win this, they win the AFC West. If they don't win it, they could be on the ropes with some very serious problems ahead, like Washington next Saturday at Mile High, and then a trip to Seattle. Right now, it's a tie game on the extra point by Carlos.
You can see Winder coming right at you. Who is that in coverage that's trying to get to him? It's Aaron Pearson. And Winder's foot speed just does it. Elway's waiting for him to clear all the wash out there. Well thrown. That's a tough catch when that ball is sinking coming into you. But an answering drive by the Denver Broncos. As I said earlier, this is a team of character. I think they know how critical this victory is today. Not a team of characters.
Tip off the 86-87 count. It was Kansas City 3-0, tied 3-3. It was Kansas City 10-3, tied 10-10. As the Broncos have come back twice now to tie the game, a game in which they're favored, albeit on the home field of the Chiefs. With kick downfield, the big guys let it roll on by. It is picked up by Jeff Smith. And he is knocked down at the 24-yard line with just 11 seconds to play in the first half. And then it's to NFL 86 in New York. Ken Woodard making the play on special teams for Denver. John Mackovic, the coach of the Kansas City Chiefs, said before this game, we not play great football all the time, but we don't have any quitters. And they've certainly not shown any today. A very evenly matched game, as Coach Dan Reeves of the Broncos thought it would be. He didn't like coming here with people talking about his team being favored.
And the Chiefs have made a lot of offensive changes in the line. Joe Zwiak, the rookie's in there. John Alt's in there.
From the shotgun, Blackledge dumping it over the middle. The ball is dropped by Moriarty with 7 seconds to play. So unless something very big happens on the next play, they'll probably go to the locker room with a halftime standoff 10-10.
In the last couple of weeks, for some strange reason, Denver defense has allowed big plays in this situation. 2 weeks ago, it was a pass reception by Phil McConkey of the New York Giants, and last week it was a reception by Chris Collinsworth of the Bengals. Not really a prevent defense, but certainly a spread defense, a 3-deep zone defense.
This will be the first time, Trump, in a month that Kansas City has not trailed at the half. They're down 28-0 in the first half when they lost 3 weeks ago at Mile High. Here's Moriarty getting ahead to the 36-yard line. He gets 10 yards, but that runs out the clock. And so we come to halftime. The Chiefs fighting hard. Dan Reeves and his Broncos going to the locker room even as we started. 10 points for each side on the board. So far, the Denver Broncos have had a couple of mistakes that might have cost them taking the lead in this game, particularly Duron Cherry's interception of John Elway in the end zone.
On psychologically, Kansas City got to feel very comfortable for the Denver Broncos, knowing the pressure on the Broncos to win this football game and win the division today. And Reeves has got to go in yelling and screaming a little bit. His defense has given up a lot of yards, but this was the answering drive. The scoring play, John Elway to Sammy Winder. The extra point was good. It ends up being 10-10 and a half. The Broncos are a tough team to mark out in any football game the way their defense plays. So now it's down to just the second half to win the division championship.
Well, in previous weeks, the talk here in Kansas City was the one team, the Chiefs, that can really beat the Chiefs on a regular basis is the Chiefs. But the defense, which had 10 penalties a week ago against Buffalo, has been playing excellent football today. Here's the Kansas City touchdown to Stephon Page that gave the Chiefs a 10-3 lead. And now at halftime, it's a 10-10 game. NFL 86 is coming up next here on NBC Sports. Bob Costas is standing by in New York with Ahmad Rashad and Paul McGuire, and we're going there next.